Friday, Miami. This is Buy, Sell, Hold Miami, a real estate podcast. I'm Peter Zalewski, condo consultant, expert witness, founder of the Miami Condo Investing Club. I'm joined here by my partner, my co-host, the moderator, Daniel Hernandez over at Compass Real Estate. He does single-family houses and condos, his offices in Coconut Grove. Happy special Friday, Daniel. Happy one-year anniversary.
You remembered. Oh, my goodness.
I remembered, and I got a special present for you.
Oh my gosh. I remembered too, Peter. We've been putting together such a special show for you all for this week. My name is Daniel Hernandez. That is Peter Zalewski, and this is the first annual BSH Awards. This is episode number 52. We've been doing this for a year with you folks. If you've been with us from the beginning, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, really. This has been fun. We got a lot in store for you coming up in the next year. Should we call it season 2, Peter? Is this the end of season 1? If we're going into season 2?
I think it's just a continuation. We're kind of like a reef. We just we just keep evolving and changing. Great Barrier Reef.
So with that, this is the BSH Awards. It's a little bit different from our past shows. If you've been watching us, or if this is your first time, you might see a little box in the bottom left corner of your screen. If you're looking at us on mobile, right there in the middle, and that's typically the rundown. And this week, we picked 5 award categories to hand out our accolades, right? And we're not poking fun. We're serious people. Peter works in real estate. I work in real estate. We talk about topics that affect everyone here in South Florida, and we back everything into real estate. And then every once in a while, we come up with these crazy ideas, right? And we go back and forth, and we either buy, we sell, or we hold. But this week, we're just nominating folks. So the format of this show is going to be the following. Peter's been directed to nominate 2 folks for each category. I've been directed to nominate 2 folks for each category. We have no idea what each other picked. And then we're going to, instead of buying, selling, and holding, we're going to award that. And the award, I created a little award for us. It's the BSH trophy. Actually, Peter, I was thinking about it. I think in honor of Miami, I'm going to make an NFT to deliver to our award recipients. Maybe we make it based off of Miami coin. Maybe we ask somebody how we're going to do that. But what do you think of that idea?
I love the idea. Daniel, you have to explain to everybody what exactly that award is comprised of. I mean, there's all kinds of symbolism involved there.
Oh, so we got the what, it was the Homer. I think that was the name of the sculpture that used to be
Home Run Sculpture.
The Home Run Sculpture that used to be at Marlins Ballpark. It was taken down after Derek Jeter. Inside, right there in center field, right? And then we got the crane.
Now it's outside.
Now it's outside. We got the crane put on a house of cards. That's supposed to be symbolic. Take it as you see it. And then we got a fictional gentleman. It's not supposed to be representative of anybody, but sort of climbing back into his crane. And then, well, I guess you could say we're the wrecking ball. No, we're not the wrecking ball. We're helping hold everything up. But with that, Peter, I want to introduce our first category. And our first category is, drumroll, Rookie of the Year. That should be pretty straightforward for everybody. But every single year, somebody comes in and wants to be a real estate developer. They plant a flag, they write a check that makes locals nervous, and this award goes for that first timer who showed up or stepped into a new seat and actually got it done, or at least so far. So Peter, I'm going to point to you. Who's your first nominee for this?
Well, there's a lot to choose from, but let's start off with the old he-coon himself, Carlos Rosso. And you guys are going to say, Carlos Rosso?
He's not
Carlos
a rookie.
Rosso's been building condos forever and ever and ever in South Florida. How could he be a Rookie of the Year? Well, I'll tell you how. Carlos Rosso used to work at the Related Group until George Perez's kids took over and they pushed him out, or he left. I don't know how it worked out. Basically, Carlos went off on his own now, and now he built a project called The Standard in Midtown, and he is doubling down with pickleball. His push is going to be build a whole series of condo towers. Paddle Pickle, whatever the hell it is, on the old Walmart site, the Walmart site in Midtown. Carlos is going forward with his second project on his own, but the first one was a standard. Because it was his first project, he was like a veteran rookie who was in the minors and all of a sudden got called up and he's out on his own. So I am nominating him as the Rookie of the Year.
All right, that's yours. Mine is a gentleman, Adam Newman. Also, people might say, hey, he's not a rookie, he's a billionaire. But I'm calling him a newcomer. So if you don't know Adam Newman, you might know him from WeWork that, went BK, filed Chapter 11 in 23. He launched Flow backed by, Andreessen Horowitz back in 2022. And you might know him as a guy that, ran that co-working company into the ground. But he's got something like 5,000 units in the pipeline. He's got a condo project called Flow House. He is all over the map here in South Florida. And of all the hundreds of millions of dollars in acquisition and construction here, he's actually representative of quite a big chunk of it. We talked about it last week. He took PMG out of their equity stake in that Society Wynwood, and they've since rebranded that to Flow House Wynwood. So that's my nominee. What's your second one, Peter?
Well, I have to admit, Adam Newman was on my list, on my extended list. I was going to put him on there because he's pretty interesting. He doesn't build anything. He simply buys other people's works, he markets it, and then he turns around and tries to sell it. Thus far, he hasn't had a lot of success selling to individuals. He's had a lot of success selling to the Wall Street types, to the hedge fund types, the private equity types. So while the individuals might be giving it a pass, people out of Wall Street kind of love it. So Adam was on my list, so I'm going to nix that one out. Let me go with my real second one for Rookie of the Year. We're going to go with Dave Martin, not to be confused with Dave.
That was my second one.
We're going with Dave Martin. If you don't know who the hell he is, neither does anybody else. This is the guy who's been put in place to go ahead and build not one, but two condo towers on a man-made island right off the coast of Brickell Avenue called Brickell Key. He's the guy in charge of putting up the Mandarin, even though he hasn't built before. In terms of Miami and a local street cred, he's the guy who's now somehow empowered to go ahead and put it up. I thought about putting it on one of our categories at the end. Our big category can't get it up, but I decided I was going to go with Rookie of the Year.
Well, I mean, I don't think he's a good nominee for Can't Get It Up, but we're going to intro people on Can't Get It Up. If you want to know what the Can't Get It Up award is, you got to stick all the way to the end of the show because we know everybody's wondering what that one's for. But I do want to give it a little accolade to Mr. Martin because I wrote a little piece of his background, right? I mean, he's no slouch. He's been around the block with Swire. He came over here with Swire about 10 years ago. I think Steve Owens was still the big boss back then. And then Henry Bott, which was this guy's immediate predecessor, only had the reins for 3 years until he stepped into Mr. Bott's shoes. Mr. Bott got sent back to London. But the reality is Swire's had, 3 serious leadership changes all the way at the top in the last 4 years? So they got this massive project waiting. They got supposedly $1.2 billion in pre-sales. I think since this guy got the big job, they've reported on 30 or 40 million more. So not only is he stepping into some pretty big shoes, but those shoes are a little padded for him.
Listen, I wish him all the luck going forward in putting this thing up. If actually they're going to put it up on their own, as you recall, the predecessor has gone forward and basically liquidated everything Swire had. They sold off the mall, they sold off dirt, they tried to put up an office tower, couldn't do it. They brought in Stephen Ross, he couldn't do it, and lo and behold, they sold that dirt right there on 8th and Brickell Avenue to the Mello Group. So I kind of give them luck and credit, but I don't know if Swire really has a presence anymore other than the dirt. And if they JV that dirt, who's to say what their future is here?
So they sold the office development lot that they had with Stephen Ross to Mello for $211.5. They sold the adjacent lot to Kurtzner, I think was her name, Kurtzner International. That was like a $40-something million transaction. And then they sold the mall, Brickell City Center, to Simon Property Group. Those are like the mall guys. And from what I could pull from Mr. Martin, Dave, not David, Mr. Martin, current head of Swire's background, he sort of quarterbacked that sale to Simon. And so I think that's what really got him in the top spot.
In terms of liquidation, I give him all the credit in the world. Now put something up. we all know, and what I always say, until you put three on the board, you're not necessarily, you're going to get run through the ringer. Ask our friend who put up the Una. Ask our friend who put up the Masoni. He had a little bit of a challenge, Mr. Vlad Dorinin. He had some real challenges along the way.
We have a comment over there on Instagram who wants to call out, and I didn't actually think of this guy, Yamal Yidios, Y-Tech.
That's
1428.
Yeah, I know.
I like the 1428 product.
I'm just not taking it serious. I don't know. Maybe it's.
I don't know.
I mean, to me, it doesn't. No, I'm not. I mean, listen, it's legitimate, but in terms of actually providing some sort of impact on the local community, I don't know that. I mean, maybe, but potentially, but I don't think it's going to be on anybody's first cut. Personally, it's definitely not on mine.
Dave Martin's got my vote for Rookie of the Year. I wouldn't wish him well. I mean, I think performance based. Maybe it's Adam Newman.
We just had the King of England here. England, right? England. He's one of the kings. I don't know. They got the whole monarchy. So I don't really pay attention. So, what was great about King Charles, right? King Charles. What's great about him is he was born into the right. He was smart enough to be born into the family, and therefore he was able to take over control. Given Mr. Martin's track record in terms of going vertical and what the task at hand is he really there to sort of build it, or is he there just to
he
sort
better
of
be there to build it? He just took the job, and they're supposed to be breaking ground on this thing.
Listen, if you don't know what you're doing, why not JV? Why not JV with somebody else? Let them take on the risk. You kick in the dirt, and you sort of sit back.
So you're thinking Dave should leave the Mandarin to maybe a David?
Well, I'm just saying, when it was first announced about the change, because remember, Steve Owens is the guy who was the visionary. He was the Steve Jobs, like Apple's. That was Steve Owens, and now you got Tim Cook in Apple, who's now leaving, and Tim Cook, effectively the local guy, was Henry Bott, and he was just there to liquidate. They dumped up everything. And liquidate he did. And now we got basically the third person in charge. Ooh, I guess he brokered a deal of some sort. I mean, I guess that makes him capable and qualified to go ahead and go vertical. So I don't know if I would vote for him. I like Rosso personally. I think Rosso has always been overlooked. When he was wet related, everybody looked at George Perez. Now that he's off on his own and he's building it on his own, and he's proven he can do it now, and he's doing it the right way. And what do I mean by that?
Does that make him? Does that eliminate him and disqualify him as being a rookie? Because he knows how to do it.
But he was in the minors. He was answering to George Perez, who was there, looking at art and donating money and then chiming in, I'm sure, barking about something. But Rosso had to go forward and actually do it all. He was the guy hustling. Now he broke off on his own. He actually did it on his own. He didn't have some guardian. He didn't have a backstop to go forward and do it. So that's why I would say that he's the Rookie of the Year. Now, granted, he's long in the tooth. He is long in the tooth. However, his first project on his own, without a custodian, without a guardian.
He's done well.
But if you want to go with Adam Newman, we could also throw him in there just for shits and giggles.
I needed a nominee. You know what? I changed my vote. You convinced me. I'm going with Rosso.
Yes, Carlos Rosso. Congratulations. You are the Rookie of the Year developer in South Florida.
Send me your contact. I'll send you an NFT. Moving along, highest bar tab of the year. So in Miami, land doesn't ask how much, it asks how badly. How bad do you want it? Because anybody can go raise capital. This award honors a deal that made every other developer spit out their espresso at the Ventanita. So whoever wins should probably get a hug or maybe a payment plan. My first nominee for this is Okro Equities. You might know them as Eric and David, two young guns. I think they're in their 30s, early 30s. And they very famously or infamously took down for $520 million the 4.25 acre assemblage over there on Brickell Bay Drive. It's an existing 32-story office tower and the 31-story yacht club apartments. And not, I mean, you need to mention the 500 feet of bay frontage that they also have there. But they had to JV with a gentleman we talk about a lot about, a gentleman that we talk a lot about on this show, Vladislav Dornin. He put up the Missoni, he put up Una, he put up 830 Brickell, which is the fancy schmancy office tower right there by Brickell City Center. He actually just launched another one. I think it's called Lily. Did you see that?
Yes,
Lily?
I think that's right. Yep, I saw that.
So he's pedal to the metal, lead foot, let's go, let's rock. But I think they paid a lot for this site. So that's my nominee. That's my first nominee. Who you got, Peter?
I'm going with Old Man Witkoff, Steve Witkoff. Why am I going with Witkoff? Because they peddled supposedly a $120 million condo. Now you're saying 100? That happened before. We have it our anniversary. It's within our basically our range.
It's within our sphere.
$120 million on a condo. Shore Club Private Collection over there at 1901 Collins Avenue. To me, if Old Man Witkoff could sell for 120, I'm assuming it's probably somebody from the Middle East, maybe some of the people they're negotiating with.
Some of the people that didn't buy at the Delmore. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, maybe. But to me, if you can get $120 million for a condo, that is by far the highest bar tab in the land.
All right. And then my other one is Nala Capital. If you don't know them, you shouldn't. They're from New York. Hey, but they're the folks who took down the Raleigh when Michael Schvo missed his payments. So if anybody doesn't know the context of this one, 3 acres of oceanfront on South Beach, a gentleman, former broker out in New York named Michael Schvo came down here and did all the work. I mean, honestly, I don't know why his financiers did not allow him to follow through with this. Supposedly he had... He was reportedly he sold some unit for like $9,000 a square foot. It was somewhere around that range, and they took it away from him. And so these guys, Nala Capital, took it down. They paid $270 million for that assemblage, and now they got Ivan and Mike are part of the pre-construction team. They're right across the office from us over at Compass. So I wish them good fortune. I think it's a lot of money. But hey, if Schvo is getting anywhere near what he reported in pre-sales, then hey, maybe it was a bargain.
I'm going with, and you don't know this name because I sure as hell didn't know it, Christian Engel. Christian Engel? Who the hell is that?
Who the hell is that?
Kristen Engel got a real estate license 2001. His office is over on Palm Beach Island. If anybody doesn't know, Palm Beach Island is what Old Man Flagler set up way back in the day, which ultimately led to Julia Tuttle and William Brickell, Mary Brickell, convincing Flagler to bring his train down here. So you got this little piece of dirt, which is called Palm Beach Island. On the southern side of it is where our president, Donald Trump, spends his weekends. That's where he has his Mar-a-Lago. And I would argue that's why the West Palm Beach condo market is blowing up right now. The amount of people going in there and buying stuff to be around the power structure is very interesting. But Mr. Engel, you know what he's doing? He's got an old condo building. Well, 2020 came online, located on the intercoastal, not located on the sand. He wants, are you waiting for this? $78.9 million for a 14,500 square foot condo that pencils out on the intercoastal. No sand. On the intercoastal, coming through out at $54.41 per square foot, and it says non-negotiable. That to me is going to be the highest bar tab in the land for a 5-year-old condo building, coming in at $5,500 a foot. That's on the intercoastal. I'm going at it. Look strictly, why would somebody want to go into that? What does it really have? Especially when you look at the location. The location is just south of the main causeway, which will take you over into Palm Beach Island. And I think it's reflective of kind of what's going on in downtown West Palm Beach and Palm Beach Island. So I'm stretching a little bit, but anybody can get a listing for $54.41 a square foot. That puts Fisher Island to shame.
Well, if we're speculating and going on ass, what about the two gentlemen who own the Cabaret Don't Call It a Strip Club across the street? They're asking $500 million. What is that? $70 million an acre for that big 7-ish acres assemblage right there on the underdeck, which isn't going to get built, but by the Signature Bridge over there. So if we're doing highest bar tab on ass, they gotta be on the list.
And they are legitimately on the list. They should be on the list. They would probably win on the list. But I love the audacity of going forward with a $5,400 square foot condo for a building that's a unit that's come online in 2020, not located on the sand, located on
It's
the
not
intercoastal.
even brand new. I mean, it's half a decade old already.
And you know what happens every 10 years? You got a structural integrity reserve study, which means, guess what? Special assessments coming.
I'm still going with the Oak Row Equity Boys.
Yeah, I mean, I got to give you that vote. $520 million for a piece of dirt just north
That's
of
a
Ken
lot.
Griffin and where he's putting up his office tower. We're probably going to look back at that just like we look back at what they did over at the Aston Martin when they bought that dirt.
Wait, have you turned a cheek? Because you didn't say Ken Griffin in his lot, supposedly. So have we turned a corner with Ken Billions?
No, we're building up to the grand finale.
All right, so can I betroth this BSH award trophy to the folks at Oak Row Equity? I'm gonna have to make 2 NFTs because it's 2 guys. I guess 3 if it's Vlad.
Throw one in for Vlad.
Throw one in for Vlad. We like Vlad. All right, congratulations, folks. Highest bar tab of the year. We wish you well. And yeah, the next one, the Carl Fisher Ballyhoo Award. Peter, you want to give us a little background? Why is it the Carl Fisher Ballyhoo Award?
So let's go back 100 years. 100 years ago, we had the great Florida land boom and bust that some would argue contributed and ultimately led to what we would come to the Black Friday, the stock market sell-off 1929. And the premise of it was credit suddenly became available. People could buy cars. They were using the predecessor to Amazon, which is called Sears Roebuck, and they could use financing. They could buy stuff. Many people came down here and they were chasing after dirt. They were looking to flip it. You had something called binder boys, which were basically pre-construction condo contracts, if you will, today. Back then, they were selling dirt. It was all just written up on paper. You could go ahead and retrade it. So Carl Fisher, who was a guy who was a gearhead, guy who loved cars, loved motorcycles, bicycles, he came up with this shtick to go ahead and just be so outrageous. He would gather everybody's attention, and once he garnered their attention, then he was able to go ahead and sell them things. So ballyhoo was a term of the 1920s, at least according to a book that I read called Bubble in the Sun, and I always tell everybody about.
Excellent
Christopher
book.
Knowlton. Read that book, 100%. So Carl Fisher, ballyhoo is the way you promote. You go over the top, kind of like we got like the shock and awe that you see a lot of times on
Wall Street of the South.
Yeah, Wall Street of the South. Exactly. So this award goes to, and it's not meant to be negative unless you want to read it as being negative, somebody who's very good at promoting a concept, whether it be true or false.
The marketer of the year.
Marketer, but not based on accuracy, but just more so being bloviating.
Yeah, like the showman, what is it, Barnum and Bailey's?
Yeah.
Didn't Carl Fisher throw like a motorcycle off a hot air balloon? Wasn't that one of his...
Yep, he did that, and anybody who brought the motorcycle, I don't know if motorcycle or bicycle, whoever brought it to his shop, he'd give him a free one. Yeah, he did all of these little things. He had an elephant, basically, that he kept in Miami Beach, and one of those sticks was, an elephant. The elephant would be the caddy, and there was a president-elect who came down to Miami, and Carl Fisher was able to grab him at the train station, take him over to Miami Beach, and took the guy golfing and stuff like that, and use the elephant. There was photographs, and all of a sudden everybody wanted to come down to Miami Beach and see Carl Fisher and all these crazy things that were going on at the time 100 years ago.
So Peter, I'm going to ask you, who's your first nominee for this?
I got 3.
You got 3? Oh, wow. All right. Give me the first one.
All right. So number 1, I got to go to the boys over at 11. 11, the Ultra Club. It's a cabaret. Don't call it a strip joint. That's Michael Simpkins. That's going to be Dennis DeGore and Mark Roberts. They are all over social media talking about how great their 11 condo towers are. They got the 3 buildings going up. One's already actually come online, even though it's about 2 to 3 years late. The other one's probably going to come even later. I did a piece in it. I drilled down and I found most of the buyers were not end users. They're pretty much just all corporations. And I'm getting a bunch of calls from people saying, listen, I got to get out. This thing was supposed to come online a while ago. It never came online. Can you help me sell these units? Can you get me a discount? I can't market it because it's locked in on the pre-construction contract. So the point is, I'm seeing them all over social media talking about how it's 100% sold out, money in the bank, blah, blah, blah. So I got to give them credit for basically taking a cabaret, don't call it a strip joint, turning it into a concept, charging at least $100 cover from what I hear to get in, and then peddling that and turning it into condo towers. So it would be Old Man Simpkins, Old Man DeGory, and Old Man Roberts. They are my first nominee.
Oh, that's a good one. I got Mr. Hussein Sajwani at Damac International. We talked about him last week. He's putting up supposedly the Delmore at the Surfside Champlain South Towers site. Really contentious guy coming in from the Middle East, thinking he could do this thing. They launched pre-sales in 2025, and their VP of development, Jeffrey by the name of Jeffrey Rosley, told The Real Deal that they have not sold a single unit. Maybe that's because they start at 15 million and go up to 150, but heck, you got Nadeem Ashi 20 blocks away who's selling out. He can't sell $50 million condos fast enough. So something's disconnected here. Despite that, though, if you go back since their pre-sales, remember, a building fell down on this site. Highly stigmatized. There's a lot of lots in town. And you're going to go after this one? And they hired Eklund Gomez. They did this whole thing with, they got the Michelin star chef coming in, and he's going to be the resident chef. And they if you go on social media, they did this deep soil mixing campaign to make sure that the base was going to be amazing. I mean, he really went above and beyond. And despite all of that, bupkis. So
that's what they say. That's
what they say. I know you think they're fishing for a JV. I don't disagree with you. I mean, if I had $100 million deep pockets and somebody said that they're not selling units, I know who I'm calling tomorrow morning.
Exactly, right?
Who's your second nominee?
All right, so at the risk of being criticized for taking pot shots, I'm going to do it anyways. Okay.
Let's see.
This is about ballyhoo. This is about promoting a concept, whether it's true or false, and then ultimately, when it bears out, what do? Do you stick with it, or you sort of pivot? So I got two that I want to lay out, but I'm gonna bring the first one. I got to go to the guy who's been doing it forever and ever and ever. And I say this with respect, but it's always interesting when you have a conversation and when you run numbers and you take a look at his numbers, you compare them to yours, and what you seem to realize, a lot of stuff is omitted. Typically, if you omit information, it's probably going to improve the average, just generally speaking. So my nominee is going to be Craig Studnicki, ISG World. Craig has been out there in the game for quite some time. He used to have a partner called Phil. It was always Craig and Phil wherever they went. It was the pair of them. They separated ways. I want to say it was after the Great Recession. So Craig's standing off on his own. He's doing what he's doing. He puts out a bunch of numbers. And Craig, I love your numbers. I just wish they were complete. Just broaden it, include everything. Because if you are going to go out there and you're going to talk about how great the numbers are, you might want to kind of have everything in the marketplace rather than just this particular area that's sort of selected. So Craig, I'm not taking a shot at you. I just, from a ballyhoo perspective, I think what you do is very effective in an up market in terms of talking about all these positive things. And I understand that's what the sell side does. So that's why I'm nominating it. This is not meant to be a slight. It's just the fact that he's very efficient. Craig's very efficient at being able to promote a concept and find the numbers to kind of fill in to substantiate it.
I like it. My second, I guess it's all of PMG. I was going to say Ryan Shearer. They just launched. Yes. So they just launched the Delano. So about a month before Vlad launched his Lily project, which, by the way, guys, if you're in the development game and you're just launching a project right now, and I would imagine that you know what the environment looks like. But if you're in the Central Business District in Miami and you've been watching this show, then you damn well know that there is a lot of inventory coming online in the next 24-ish months. We already got 24 months of inventory as it is. So to launch I think they start at $800,000. The Delano is going to be a 985 foot tall building, 90 stories, and it's going to be right next to their ultra luxury Waldorf, which they market the hell out of. I think they're sold out. Peter's going to say supposedly, but
500%. They are 500% sold, because whatever number they tell you versus what I tell you, it's the same, because nothing's gotten over the finish line.
So 421 units they announced or they launched sales for at the Delano, and I gotta applaud it. They're taking a shot. Is it going to be done in 4 years? Is it going to be done in 5 years? Is it going to be done in 6 years? I don't know. But they, and by they I mean Ryan Shearer and his boys over there at PMG, are marketing the hell out of it. I think he well deserves the Ballyhoo Award.
That's very, I mean, listen, we could almost negotiate. We might have to do some horse trading because we might be able to pair Ryan with the boys over at 11 at Cabaret, don't call it a strip joint, because remember, PMG's involved with that as well. So that might be, but let me get in my fifth one.
So the wild card.
Yeah. So let me get my fifth one. So for a number of years, I was on the corporate board over at the Miami Association of Realtors. They wanted me on there. Not that they liked me. It's just they wanted to see what the hell I was up to.
They didn't like you?
I don't know. Then we kind of got to a point where I didn't want to be more positive than I had to be. So as a result of that, we kind of parted ways. I made a decision that I'm going to do what I do, and if I'm positive or I'm negative, I'm going to let the data decide it. So fast forward. So that's kind of the precursor. So I want to nominate Anna Bozovic. I think that's her name. Anna Bozovic. She is basically the person out there. Anna Analytics, although she's been talking a lot about how the market's going great. You know, you got the migration, you got Mom Donnie, you got
cash deals,
gateway to Latin America, all that stuff. And you know what Anna just did? She just pivoted. She's pivoting her business model, at least according to her press posts or her Instagram or social media. She's now turning into like a deal sheet where she's telling you, is it actually a buy or is it not a buy? If everything is going
she's
up,
buy, sell, holding.
Yeah, how do you pivot if the trees go to the moon and now all of a sudden you're telling maybe the trees don't grow to the moon? Ooh. So I thought it was kind of interesting. I went to her website after I saw that, and it's analytics.miami. What I can see, the website's like some kind of German like fighting equipment.
She didn't renew her URL.
I don't know what's going on. Maybe somebody hacked the website or something like that. So I want to promote Anna for the Ballyhoo because she was really pushing this market. She is
gung ho. She's got that whole Long Miami hashtag. That's
she's
valid.
Been promoting it, but now she's pivoting. Telling you if from a deal sheet perspective, maybe the market's not going to go up. So again, another circumstance where people are in a certain role to try to promote it, but then ones and facts don't necessarily align. You know, Craig omits numbers, some would say, and Anna's pivoting the business model from what I can see based on when they're doing it. And they're kind of doing it right now when the market's in this process of sales going up because prices are coming down.
This is a tough one, Peter. I like the PMG 11. I like Anna. I really like Mr. Sajwani. Look, Sajwani thought he had this thing on lock. There's war in the Middle East. He's got deep-pocketed friends in Dubai. He's cozy with the Trumps. How could he not sell out of a multi-$100 million spot on an ultra-contentious site in Surfside?
But the only pushback I would give is I didn't see him out there screaming from the rooftops.
Right, you don't know what he looks like.
Project. Yeah. So he wasn't screaming from the rooftops. He wasn't out there peddling something. So that's the only reason from a Ballyhoo perspective, you know, Carl Fisher dropping a bicycle or motorcycle, whatever the hell it was from the balloon, it was meant to catch attention.
In that vein, I think we got to give it to Anna.
I wish her luck, and I'm not.
No, I think she's fantastic. I love everything she's doing, but she's on it. I know what she looks like. I've never met her. I bet you if you saw Ryan Shearer in the street, you couldn't give him a high five. You'd never recognize him. He's a really nice guy, by the way.
I knew the people with his father and stuff. Yeah.
So are we giving this to Anna?
I mean, to me, it's clear cut. If you want to hedge it, you go with Craig.
No. Anna, send us your contact info, and we'll send you an NFT. It's not worth anything, but hey, maybe it will be one day. Next one, Only in Miami Award. And we're not talking about the Instagram account. But this is the stuff, guys, when you tell your friends who've never lived in Miami before, and you tell them a story, and then they go, wait, what? Right? This is the stuff you can't make up. But like in Miami, you don't have to. So this category honors the story that most fully captured our spirit of this beautiful yet slightly unhinged real estate market. Peter, what's your first nominee for this?
You know, this is a layup. This is I nominate Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, and as a backup, I nominate the Board of Trustees for Miami-Dade College. Only in Miami.
We can't send them all NFTs. There's like 8 of them, right?
only in Miami can you take a site on a low end appraisal is worth 67 million. On a high end appraisal is worth more than 360 million, and give it away for zero zilch when
$10.
one of the key partners of President Donald Trump owns a piece of dirt a couple blocks down right across from the Overtown station in that Miami World Center.
It's Mr. Witkoff, isn't it?
Mr. Witkoff, old man Witkoff. So to me, the Trump Presidential Library is the only in Miami, although I got other ones, the only in Miami a winner in year one.
That was my second one. See, I told you we were going to overlap on some. All right, my only unique, only in Miami is Mr. Daniel Vorcaro. Do you know who that is, Peter?
Ooh, no, tell me.
You might know his company. It's no longer a bank in Brazil, but it's called Banco Master. So in January 25, Delaware LLC, and I had to pull this up because I remember I had met an attorney who told me that they had recognized that this was all connected to him. But in Bay Point, there were several transactions, one for $85.2 million. Now, that might seem like a lot of money because it is. It's so much, it's even double of what the previous record for a single-family home in Bay Point was. The previous record was $38.5 million set back in 23. He paid $85.2 million, and then he bought the house across the street for $7 million. This guy was on a tear. And then the investment bank, Banco Master, took out a 26,000 square foot lease at $190 a foot. And then it all imploded. The Bank of Brazil, the Federal Bank of Brazil, what's it called? I guess the bank, Banco de Brazil, whatever their equivalent of like the Fed is. So they're under tremendous investigation. It's called Operation Compliant Zero, which sounds like the next Mission Impossible new movie. But they pulled off what is a $7.7 billion fraud.
Nice. Big numbers.
And where does every fraudster come to spend all that money? Right here, baby. Right here. You're looking at it. They go to Bay Point. They go to Key Biscayne. They go to Miami Beach. They buy condos. And then you're getting on your private jet to get to the Caribbean one day, and the feds come in their SUVs just like that Mission Impossible movie and throw you in handcuffs. That's my only in Miami.
That's a very good only in Miami. I got to go with a lawsuit, and this doesn't, nothing is definitive. This is based on a lawsuit. My nominee is the story. One of the characters in the story is a guy called David Martin of Terra Group.
David,
so
not Dave of Swire. David.
My nominee is the story of how a owner in the Deauville Beach Resort over in 67th and Collins Avenue,
a good one.
Allegedly, according to a lawsuit, gave up about 25% stake in a piece of dirt for just under $13 million or so. She's older in age. So that one to me sounds like a very good only in Miami. I don't know what the truth is. I'm not alleging anything. I'm just saying that story about a developer paying $12.9 million, I think is what the Real Deal reported.
12.5.
Yeah, 12.5 for a stake and a piece of oceanfront land right there at 67th and Collins.
That's a good one.
Definitely needs to be put on the list of only in Miami award this year.
I thought about it, but then my conscience pushed back. Aren't old folks getting defrauded here like every half an hour? It's just a lot of zeros at this alleged fraud.
Fair point. Fair point. I love the lawsuits. The lawsuits were great, or is great.
So what direction are we going here on this one, Peter?
I think the biggest only in Miami award is gotta be Trump Library.
It's got to be Trump.
It's got to be the Trump Library. How
obnoxious I don't have enough NFT trophies for all these guys. There's too many people involved here. We got Eric Trump. We got the lawyer. We got the president himself. We got, I don't know how many trustees are at Miami-Dade College, but they're forgettable.
Governor DeSantis.
So many people had their dirty, greasy fingers in this pie. How
about as a compromise? Why don't we give it to Marvin Dunn?
Oh, we just give it to Dr. Marvin Dunn? Oh, it is only. Oh, I mean, you have this civil rights activist who's been through the ringer, Actually, I like that, Peter.
Well,
I think he
about
deserves.
it. President Trump wanted a Nobel Peace Prize. He didn't get it. So the winner from Venezuela, she gave him the award. So why are we going to give President Trump this award? Let's pass it on to Professor Emeritus Marvin Dunn.
I like that a lot. I think
it's a nice compromise.
I think that's a home run, and he deserves a home run trophy.
He can receive it in honor of the Trump Presidential Library.
But we need to recognize that the only in Miami is that a gentleman as astute as he can pull together a lawsuit, because he just filed another lawsuit, and there are a bunch of students at Miami-Dade College are plaintiffs on this. So they filed a lawsuit against this entity, I guess the DJT Library Foundation, whatever it's called, to block that transaction. I saw in the Herald this week, actually, that they said the president already has a library, actually, and that you can't have two libraries. After his first term, he got a library, and now this supposedly is going to be a library, but he already has one where the records are after his first term because he was already president. Remember?
That's right. Oh yeah, everybody remembers.
All right, Dr. Dunn, we'll get you your award. You just got to come and claim it. You got to hang out with me and Peter again, though. Sorry. All right, and the final award category for the day. It's a big one, and if you've been waiting all afternoon for it, I'm going to tell you what it is. So, this category honors developer who, despite the renderings, the press releases, the influencer dinners, still managed to leave us all standing around, staring at a hole in the ground. The Can't Get It Up award goes to the project that promised the moon and delivered perhaps a foreclosure docket. We had a lot of qualified nominees for this one, but we couldn't stop at 2. Maybe can't stop at 3. Peter, who you got?
Oh, man, I got so many to go with. I'm going to roll out our old standby, Ken Billions. Ken Griffin of Citadel. He has been talking about this $1 billion office tower breaking ground ever since he bought the dirt back in 2022. What happened? Guys dropped $520 million to be in and around him. Condos are trading all around him. So many years, so many missed deadlines, so many increase in costs because the tariffs and other things started at $1 billion. Now he's talking $2.5 billion coming online in 2030, and Miami replaces New York City because of Mamdani, because of the office tower, because of everything else. He's my number one nominee, even though he's moving dirt right now. Let's see if he goes vertical, is what I would say to hedge my position about him not building for a while. So Ken Griffin, Ken Billions, you are my nominee for the developer who couldn't get it up.
All right, that's a tough one to follow up, but I'm going to have to go in it. I don't think this will be any surprise to you or anybody else. Mr. Michael Stern, JDS Development. So one could argue that he could have been a candidate for the Value Award because I do think that the Mercedes-Benz Places was one of the most marketed projects in Miami, but also maybe the most leveraged. So JDS broke ground on their, think about 800 unit Mercedes-Benz branded super tall back in 2024. It's in a neighborhood called West Brickell. If you moved away and you said, Daniel, what the hell is West Brickell? Well, it's west of the Metro Mover, but east of 95, south of the river. It's in there. Is it a good site?
Ace Hardware. By the original Publix on Brickell.
Maybe Hyundai and Kia didn't answer their cold emails for the licensing deal and they got to Mercedes. But in any event, Cottonwood Group foreclosed on his note, $86 million bridge loan, which is, that's what developers do. They acquire the dirt, they get the bridge loan, and then they have 18, 36, 40 months, however, to pre-sell until they can get their construction loan. And so if they don't meet those obligations, then, as they say in Tampa, Peter,
tits up.
So now Cottonwood Group, they're sitting on this note. It's accruing interest daily. It's not looking good for buyers at the Mercedes-Benz right now.
But Mr. Stern has fired back and filed his own lawsuit.
He filed his own lawsuit. Yeah,
you know what happens when one person sues and another person sues? That is going to get resolved quickly.
Who's your number 2, Peter?
My number 2 for the award of Can't Get It Up We're going to go with Stephen Ross. Stephen Ross of the related Ross. Stephen Ross of the Miami Dolphins. Stephen Ross, I nominate you. Why? Because you were going to build an office tower right there at 8th and Brickell Avenue. You're working with the boys over at Swire. I think this was the gentleman who left, who was liquidating before the current leader
Henry
was in
Bott.
place over there. Henry Bott. Yeah. So ultimately, they were not able to go forward. Stephen Ross wasn't able to get the people signed to leases, and therefore, Swire Properties decided to sell the property over to the Mello Group. And Stephen Ross is concentrating primarily more, from what I hear, up in and around Palm Beach County. Although I did read somewhere that Stephen Ross his company might be involved with the actual construction of Ken Griffin's $2.5 billion office tower.
I thought he got some GCs out of Tampalandia.
Yeah. He did. But I read somewhere, and I'll have to look into it. So at this point, that part is just speculation. But what's not speculation is Stephen Ross couldn't get it up on the office tower site at 8th and Brickell, and the dirt was sold by Swire.
That's a good one. My second one is Old Man Boemi. I'm hot on the Brazilians today. So groundbreaking. And wait, who is that? No. Oh no, I actually have another one. We have a lot for Can't Get It Up, don't we? So I
got a third one. So let's let him rip.
All right, fine. The Bomeni site's interesting because this, I think, in our list might be the longest running Can't Get It Up, right? I mean, he acquired this site, $65 million Holiday Inn site back in 2014. So like Obama was still in office. It's about an acre. He got it fully entitled. Architectonica designed it. I got it here. 374 condos, 120 key hotel, retail, parking, 1.5 million square feet of gross development. And in 11 years, he has not moved a single shovel of dirt that isn't already a Holiday Inn. So his financiers forced an auction back in December. They forced a re-auction to try to get more. There's another LLC involved that bid it up. I mean, and now Bomeni is back suing these guys for underhanded practices. Kind of like JDS. These guys are just going head to head on it. But look, the guys holding the paper right now, I think they're clean at like $95 million for this site, fully entitled, ready to go. And I know I've mentioned this before on the show, but $95 million for a fully entitled condo site with hotel and all, right? Like just build the fucking thing. And then you got the Oak Row guys who spent $520 million, and they have so much work to do. Yeah, it's going to be next to Ken Billions, but that's a big spread.
That is arbitrage real estate style right there. But somebody told me, yeah, but it's on the other side of the river, therefore it's worth 5 times more. So, exactly. So interesting. All right. You ready for my third? Even though you gave me 2, I'm going with a third.
Well,
I know you got a third.
We have time. I got a third.
All right. So I am going for the Can't Get It Up award. I am nominating, and there's 3 developers. Alan Faina of Faina District fame, Miami Beach. I'm going with Edgardo Di Fortuna, Fortune International, and just for kicks, let's throw in there Shahab Karmali from KAR Properties. This is a project that Faina, who, if anybody doesn't remember, Mr. Faina, Alan Faina came here. He went forward. He got the Faina District created. They have the hotel. They put up the tower. That's how Ken Billions originally came here. Bought a couple penthouses, ultimately selling them at a loss, lower than what he originally paid. A lot of Wall Street people went in there. The whole district went off, and at the end of the day, it didn't work out very well. So Mr. Faina ended up selling his house here, going back to Argentina, and now he's been brought back up. He was selling condos on Miami Beach on the ocean. Now he is peddling condos on the north bank of the Miami River with the Faina residences. And the reason he's doing it is because the KAR group, they had tried before to put up a tower. Last go around, they weren't able to get it off the ground. So now they bring in Faina, and the common denominator, the conduit, is Mr. Edgardo Di Fortuna of development fame. So the 3 of them I nominate as the Can't Get It Up award winners.
Okay, so we got 5, but I think these guys might take the cake.
Oh, you're holding out on me here.
I was holding out.
Tell me.
Two Roads Development, Biscayne 21. They were supposed to be delivering this year on the addition. However, Biscayne 21 remains. Actually, it remains a shell of itself. They're supposed to get started on work. The $65 million remediation because a number of holdouts, I think there were 8 of them, demanded, at least at a time, they demanded $50 million. I think Two Roads offered 20. They said eat rocks and appeal, lawsuit. And time again, a judge has come back and said, you guys messed up. And so for context, for anybody just joining us for the first time, Two Roads went in here and somebody was the smartest guy in the room for a whole 15 minutes and said, hey, you know what? If you get a majority on the board, we can change this condo deck and we can make it say that it's not 100% unanimous consent building to terminate the condo. We can do it and say it's 80. And they tried to pull that off, but they failed. The holdout sued. And now anybody who put a reservation down on the addition,
years later,
what happens if they, so what, they got to put the building back together? They're going to move the addition to another site? All of a sudden that $50 million demand like a year ago looks pretty freaking cheap.
And that's where the JV comes in. Like I always said, that the 8 owners who were in this building, if anybody doesn't know this building was a shithole. It was underutilized. They had surface parking, very few units, cement balconies. They went through and they did a 40-year recertification. This is even before you had the Surfside condo collapse back in June of 2021, which, by the way, coming up on 5-year anniversary. They went forward, and because people who lived there loved it, but this was a crappy old building. They decided to renovate it. Then Two Roads came in. They started buying up the units. They thought they could just steamroll it. They could go ahead and put up the tower they were going to put up. And then 8 people didn't want to sell. They sold, even though they got kicked out. The building was gutted. And I still to this day say private equity or some sort of institutional money.
You think somebody's advising them, right?
100%, because there's no way they were going to go through the process of suing, appealing over and over and over. And there's been a huge payout. So I think in order for Two Roads to go forward, I'm purely speculating, they are going to have to JV with those 8 people somehow, some way, as well as what I suspect the people behind who are actually funding all of the legal fees. Because it's been years and years and years and years and years. So if that project goes forward, I think it's going to be a JV scenario.
Long.
Like we'll probably see with Mandarin Oriental.
It's been long. All right, Peter. So who's it going to be? We got 6. We got Two Roads with Biscayne 21. We got Michael Stern, JDS. We got Ken Billions. We got Stephen Ross. We got Alan Faina, and we got old man Gilberto Bomini.
I think you pulled you had the kill shot with the Biscayne 21. I think that one's got to be the one because of the long, drawn-out saga and the impact and repercussions of that particular deal.
All right, you heard it here, folks. You heard it here first, folks. Taylor Collins and Reed Boren of Two Roads Development. Guys, come collect your prize. Just send me your email. I'll shoot you an NFT. I don't know how to make an NFT, Peter, but somebody will teach me and we'll figure it out. I think it's only right. It's only in the spirit, in the essence of what we're trying to do here. But in all seriousness, everybody, this has been a great year. I got to thank Peter for beating me up a year ago to do this with him. I got to thank anybody who's been with us since the beginning. I got to thank any newcomers. Joshua. Guys, we did it. 1 year, 52 episodes, and we won't let you down. Peter, you got anything to say to the group?
No, I think it's a fun run, and I think it's going to get a lot more fun as we go forward, especially if things start to change and we bring more information into the market. Remember, trees don't grow to the moon, and we're the program that's going to help you to figure out which tree is going to grow and which one's probably going to get clear cut.
So we got another season in for you. It's not like you got to wait a year for it. We'll be back next Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join us live. Join us on the weekend. Join us on your ride home. And we hope to see you all then. Cheers, everybody.